Hi, welcome to Tales of Dread. I hunt regularly. I joined the army after high school and now work 6 days a week, but enough about me. Last October, I went hunting in New River. That morning, I made my fiancée breakfast. I make my fiancée's favorite fried eggs every morning. So we eat, and I grab my camo and rifle. I took my fiancée to work that morning. We arrived to New River with her job. She kisses me and asks me to get her something tasty. I promised and returned with my lifted Chevy 2500. The mountain trek was beautiful. Tennessee's backroads are gorgeous. So I got to my stand, but it was so eerily silent that morning about noon that I ate a peanut butter and syrup sandwich. During getting ready, my fiancée made me. She even wrote me a card saying she loved me and was happy we were together a month before having our daughter. She was a wonderful old lady. After I finished, I decided to walk back to the tree stand. As I walked, I started to sense fear that something was wrong. I thought it was nerves because this is hog country. I've been chased previously on this road, but this became worse. I was getting closer to my stand when I heard a twig snap. As an experienced hunter, I detected movement 50 yards away. I saw a round shape approaching towards me, so I squatted, readied my rifle, and trained it on the color. When I heard groaning, I thought, yes, a large deer, God. Mistaken. As it got closer, I noticed it's bigger than a deer on all fours. The elk is walking out cool, but I noticed its head is weird. Slowly walking out, it stops and stands. On 2 legs, it's easily 8 feet tall, but because I'm 66, the thicket is just above my head and this creature is 1 to 2 feet above it. It starts sniffing and turns to me. I felt frozen at that time. The wolf-like creature I was looking at let out a harsh, almost demonic roar and snarled at me. Army trained, I knew if it charged, I'd only get 1 shot, so I had to make it count. It rips through the bushes on all fours. Again. Van Halen's Werewolf is charging me full speed. I'm in major trouble when I hear a branch snap. I look back and see a second, larger wolf on 2 legs. It's 9 feet tall, built like a bodybuilder, and has jet black fur. This was closer. This creature is too fast for me to shoot safely with my rifle. I avoid a charging monster. I encountered large boulders and skidded into red clay mud before realizing it crossed the road. The bigger black wolf attacks the lighter brown wolf, tackling it to the ground as they roll down the slope, scratching, biting, and bashing each other. The smaller brown wolf kicks and pauses until its back claws rip the huge black wolf's stomach open and toss him off. The brown wolf snarls at me and charges full speed. The wolf's power and bulk as it approaches me astound me. The big black wolf slams the brown one from behind, putting its arm through its side, scooping it up, and clamping its jaws on its shoulder as it throws it away from me. It lands, rolls about 10 yards, and jumps up, rushing back through the brush. I released a breath I didn't realize I'd held. At that time, I look at the bleeding, beaten, ripped open black wolf standing with blood pouring from its back claws and glittering white fangs dripping with the brown wolf's blood, and I realize I must prove I am no threat to the king of the mountain. I lower the rifle and as I do, this monster smirks at me, lets out an ear-shattering roar that transforms into a howl as it looks into my soul. I see the eyes of a beast and I understand it was there to prove it was the alpha, and as long as I paid him respect, he won't be a threat. On all fours, it chased the other. I immediately start running, which helped me and the army stay fit. I down the ridge to my truck. When I get to the door, I see blood on my truck. I hesitated to look, but I knew I'd turned off the rifle's safety to shoot anything that sprang out of the truck. I found a dead, broken-necked doe in the back of my truck. I hop in, start the truck, and spin it around, scattering gravel. I'm tearing asses out of the woods and flying down the mountain on back roads till March. My fiancée sees I'm shaken, and takes me home. I tell her everything, but we decided to tell everyone that I hit the doe with my vehicle and became startled by it, since who would believe me? Until I heard from other folks who had seen this big beast. I figured this was the best way to tell my tale without being called crazy, lying, or making it up. I wanted to notify hunters and hikers. We're not the top of the food chain or king of the mountain, since the monarch has no predators. Thanks for letting me vent. Here's my second encounter. My fiancé and I saw Bigfoot together. Again, we're river hunting. We've spotted a Bigfoot family for 3 or 4 years, they're never hostile. Respectful and curious. 4 Bigfoot are around. The 9 to 10 foot tall black guy is jet black. He's jacked. The second largest is an 8 foot tall girl with black stripes down her shoulders and back. 2 smaller ones are 6 to 8 feet tall and lighter brown. Male and female teens. The boy's chest has a light brown spot. The young woman is a beautiful golden brown. We frequently observe them as a family or 2 guys hunting together, probably because they've been on deer tracks or gravel and dirt roads. Everyone's curious. They've come within 50 yards of me and my fiancé, yelling and chirping. We've had a joy seeing them and getting them used to us. In the ridge's hollow, we built a cabin. This woodsy cabin is in a beautiful spot between creek branches, but we can drive to it. We started receiving the mail, which was nerve-wracking since it's not far from where I'd seen the 2 dogs fighting. After we got to sing as a family, they'd check out the truck or look in the windows at night to see if we were cooking. My fiancée was afraid until she realized they were intrigued. On hot summer days, it's been amazing to watch kids in the creek. The huge male was reclining in cool mud with the big female in the shade while the 2 juveniles splashed, rolled, and threw mud. When I was fixing a tree stand in my Chevy 2500, a young man raced up behind me. His loud footsteps terrified me. Then he let out a peculiar wolf, as if saying boo as woo. I jumped shocked, and the young man was laughing like a fat backwoods Satan. I laughed and replied, "Shithead." Big guy grumbled at him, waved and ran. My fiancée waited on the porch when she heard the sound. She's seen me and the large male standing 10 yards apart twice that morning. He dwarfed me. Her face, she was anxious or scared. Seeing him was shocking. Last Saturday, I was close enough to smell his musky perfume and realized he had a new chest wound. 4 claws descended his leathery breast. We left him rotting fruit so he could get to it easier. So he'd heal, because it showed me he'd protect the region. This weekend, we went up but didn't hear or see them. I was worried about him and his family. So I looked for them all night on Friday, but didn't find them. The next morning, my fiancée and I had breakfast. We had a great day hunting up the ridge. Her passion of hunting made her more appealing to me. I'm lucky to have her. As my girlfriend and I returned to camp Saturday evening, we saw leaves had been trampled. It gave us optimism they're safe. As the sun sank in New River, we started cooking supper. It was pitch darkness. My fiancée stepped out to the porch to get me a bottle of Jack, and I heard the truck door open. I heard the door smash as she ran in, so I dropped everything to make sure she was okay. She said she feared our huge male neighbor was heading up the creek bed towards us, so we turned down the camp stove to watch him approach. I lit a cigarette for my fiancée as I enjoy my own. I noticed he's walking funny and his typical grunts sound deep and hoarse. We took a bag of fruit from the back of the truck and strolled to the stream bed, then crept back to camp. The animal is approaching me, unaware that I stepped into a hole where a juvenile one had flung mud. I hit the ground hard as I stepped backwards, and as my pain grew, my fiancée pulled me to my feet. As she turned her back on the animal, my heart sank as I saw the deep pitch black wolf, male that had won the fight previously with the brown wolf, start gaining on us. I got to my feet and begged my fiancée to escape, but I'd hold it off as long as I could. I threw myself between the beast and my old woman, the love of my life, since I couldn't let anything happen to her. I charge him, shrieking. The wolfman sprinting towards me with a savage growl I never knew I had. As I have his attention, I pull a Bowie knife from a sheath my grandfather left over from the Vietnam War, knowing I'm going to die. The hilltop roars, suddenly. The young female roared and pounded her chest when the wolf stopped to see the new creature. My fiancée freezes on a dime with tears in her eyes when I realize she has the hunting gun from the truck bed. The wolf snarls and growls. He realizes his mistake and throws me onto my back. My fiancée kills him. The shot barely grazes him as my fiancée runs up to me with another rifle and hands it to me. We understand that the young female and male across the creek had started throwing rocks at the wolfman. As the enormous male bursts from the thicket and clears the creek in one jump, I start backing up slowly towards my fiancée. The massive male standing between us and the wolfman is shouting and thumping his chest. Again, the wolf runs. The alpha wolfman clawed and slashed the giant male Bigfoot as he stood triumphantly. He held the wolf's throat back. As the two kids bombard the wolfman with rocks, the male Bigfoot slashes his legs, dropping him to his knees. Bigfoot and wolfman tumble to their knees, as Bigfoot bellows in anguish. The wolfman jumps on him, and another large foot swings a downed wood at his head. She swings the wood across its stomach as it flips backwards. He jumps and rushes away. The female chirps and clicks as she kneels to the male. The little ones cross the creek to rejoin the adults. My fiancée runs to my side, hugs me, and says, "Thank God." The enormous male stands up, stares at me, and chirps and clicks toward me while cocking his head like a dog. Would seeing if I was okay, the complete family standing in front of us as me, my fiancée, and the Bigfoot family let out a resounding roar. A triumph roar. Then they gently climb the hill to their cave on the ridgetop. My fiancée and I return to the cabin. She examines me, wraps my ribs, and loads the truck quickly. We depart with the Jack 2500 Chevy, fiancée clutching my hand and says she's proud of me and grateful I'm okay. Every bump reminds me of my damaged ribs. I thanked her for returning, and when we reached the main road, she kissed me and we left. What's below? Hope you liked this Dogman vs Bigfoot story. I know the story's disarray made it tough to listen to. So I had to reformat it, but perhaps you can still get the point. If you appreciate my content, please like, subscribe, and comment.